Whenever I took a nap, I would start a fight with my husband. This was not intentional, but over time I started to notice a pattern. And it's weird to think about now, but there was a time when I felt guilty for having needs. I was exhausted and I hated to admit that I needed more sleep than my husband did. And the crazy thing is he never made me feel this way. It was a story that I was telling myself and it was tearing me up inside. That voice kept telling me that I was a total slacker. And because of this, I took my insecurities out on the person that I love the most. And I'm not proud of it. Then I had a few rest sessions and I was no longer picking fights with my husband. It was as if someone waved their magic wand and poof, my trigger was gone. And I know that sounds cheesy, but now when I need self-care, I don't feel guilty admitting it to my husband. When I'm feeling exhausted, I invite him to take a nap with me. Instead of having that negative chatter in my head, I am able to have a deeper relationship with a man I married. My point is, we all have struggles. For me, it was being ashamed that I had needs. For you, it could be that coworker who gets under your skin, or it could be something as little as the smell of someone's cologne. Whatever the trigger, it makes us feel super uncomfortable. Triggers make us say or do things that we regret later and have to apologize for. So where do these triggers come from? The triggers come from our childhood. And even if you had a great childhood, you have negative experiences. When we had stressful moments as children and they were not soothed, it's as if we stuffed those memories deep into the crevices of our subconscious brain where we thought we'd never see them again. It's like we survived, right? So we're all good. No, we're not so good. Those stressors eventually surface as triggers. It's kind of like when we cleaned our rooms as kids. We'd stuff all the toys in the closet and later when the door was opened, everything came crashing to the floor. This is a metaphor for the stress that builds throughout our lives. It builds and builds until eventually it all comes crashing down. At rest, we want to prevent that crash or soften the blow when the crash happens. While we don't have a magic wand, we do have a step-by-step process where each rest session helps you to begin to delete the triggers in your life. Once you delete enough of those triggers, you start to change entire belief systems that don't serve you. And you begin to access your own power, your own genius, your own creativity, and it happens quite naturally. There is a sense of freedom that is so hard to describe but so worth experiencing when you're not being triggered all the time. This is why I love to recommend a minimum of 10 rest sessions. At rest, we believe that emotions matter. Now is the time to master yours. So what can you expect from your rest session? First, you want to plan to be on time for your virtual appointment so that you can spend about 50 to 60 minutes with your rest coach. It's important to be in a place that is quiet and free from interruptions. So whether you're a parent who needs to slip out to the car to escape the distractions of home, or you're a working professional who can make better use of your lunch break, or you're someone who is always on the go and needs the flexibility to do sessions from pretty much anywhere you get Wi-Fi, make sure you're in a comfortable place and free from distractions. The first part of the session focuses on you and the things that are holding you back. This is the time to be as honest and vulnerable as possible with your rest coach. And if you don't know where to begin, our coaches have been trained to guide you. You may discuss things like your goals, your struggles, the heavy stressors that may be keeping you up at night, and know that these conversations are always confidential and judgment-free as our coaches have been vetted by us. They've gone through a rigorous and thorough training to become certified, and they have been right where you are in the client seat. In fact, they're in that client seat receiving rest sessions often because they believe in what rest does. And it's important to note that this is not a therapy session. Our rest coaches are not licensed physicians, they're not psychologists, and they're not licensed care providers. What they do really well is leverage the latest research in neuroscience to help you cope with difficult feelings, to help you react less to the stress in your life, and to help you release those repetitive negative thought patterns like the limiting beliefs of not being worthy or not being enough, and the self-sabotage that can prevent the good stuff in life from happening. And while all of our coaches are different, they all follow that same step-by-step process. So the next step is to seek out the source of the problem. Most people don't realize that the source of their current stress is connected to something that is happened to them in the past. And most of the time, they don't remember it. And that's because the source of the problem is tucked away in your brain where it's been waiting to be soothed. We call this the original event. Our coaches help you access emotions from the original event by following your stress response. Our coaches are kind of like stress chasers. Now, to be clear, rest doesn't determine if the original event was true or not. The original event is simply a memory created by you when you were a child. And the original event found by your coach could be a real memory as seen through the perspective of your inner child, or it could be an imagination of your mind. Either way, processing this event will help you to soothe the emotional stressors in your mind and bring you real relief. Rest is not here to validate anything that happened to you in the past, rather to create an emotional release and clarity for your present. The final step in the session is good self-care. In fact, that final step goes beyond the session. Think of how you would treat yourself after a massage. You'd want to drink plenty of water and relax. Well, you want to do that. But many of my clients plan extra time before bed to journal or meditate on the newfound clarity that they have. When you feel the flood of good emotions, allow yourself to soak that up. Be present with that feeling. Let your imagination run wild with the exciting visions that are in your mind, because your brain is primed for change. It doesn't know the difference between real or fake, so let it believe that the good stuff has already happened. By doing this, it's like feeding your brain with the best nutrition. And then, with those incredible visions dancing in your head, the most important thing to do is get a great night's sleep. The better you sleep, the better the healing, the better the integration process. In fact, we always recommend prioritizing sleep, but especially the next 3 nights after your rest session. Many people are excited about the shifts that they begin to experience, and they are eager to schedule their next session. So we recommend giving yourself 3 sleeps in between sessions, so be sure to schedule that accordingly. Your rest session is kind of like a gardening of the mind, where you pull out the original event by its roots and then you plant a new seed full of clarity and new hope and a vision for the future. And then you watch it grow. I know I speak for our rest family when I say, thank you for letting us be a part of this. We are so excited to see where this journey takes you.